let go, life still flows. In a quiet village nestled by a gentle river, there lived a man named Samuel, along with his wife Mira and their 2 young children. Their lives were humble, simple, built on farming and small trade. Every day passed with the laughter of children and the sweat of honest labor. But Samuel was restless. He often thought of the future, of the day he might no longer be around. Who would care for his wife? Who would guide his children? His mind, like a flickering lamp in the wind, was filled with fear and uncertainty. Then one day, Samuel heard of a sage who lived deep in the forest. Someone said to possess the wisdom to calm any troubled soul. With hope flickering in his heart, Samuel sought him out. In a small hermitage surrounded by trees, Samuel poured out his fears. The sage listened patiently, then said, "Your fears are not truth, Samuel. They are illusions. The world does not stop when one person is gone. Your family is not as weak as you think. It is your mind that refuses to let go." Samuel was shaken. The sage continued, "If you truly seek peace, let go of everything. Renounce the world. Walk the path of spiritual devotion, and you will find the freedom you seek." Samuel hesitated. "But who will take care of my wife and children? They need me." The sage smiled softly. "Or perhaps it is you who need them to need you." That one sentence cut through Samuel's pride, his so-called sense of duty. After many sleepless nights, Samuel returned to the sage and accepted the offer. The sage then taught him a secret technique, the art of deep breath holding, allowing him to appear lifeless for a long time. Use it once, disappear without goodbye, but remember, true peace comes only when the ego dies. The next morning, Samuel took his family to the river as usual. While they bathed and played, he silently slipped beneath the water, holding his breath until he disappeared from sight. His wife and children cried out, panic rising. Villagers came, but hours passed and no trace of Samuel was found. They believed he had drowned. Mira collapsed in grief. The children cried for days, but time moved forward. Eventually, Mira wiped her tears, stood up, and began to sell again. She fed her children, taught them, and kept the home warm with the same fire Samuel thought only he could tend. Meanwhile, far away, Samuel emerged from the river, unnoticed. He returned to the hermitage and began his new life of meditation, silence, and spiritual study. But peace did not come. Every time he closed his eyes, his family's faces returned. He wondered, were they crying still? Were they lost without him? Did they think of him every day? One day, Mira came to the sage's hermitage to receive blessings. Samuel, hearing her voice, hid behind a pillar, desperate to hear yet afraid to be seen. The sage welcomed her warmly. "Daughter, we are saddened by the loss of my dear disciple. How are you managing?" Samuel expected sobs, longing, maybe even despair, but Mira replied, her voice calm, "Nothing can replace him. But life must go on. My children and I, we've found our way." Samuel froze. How could they move on? How could she speak so steadily? Did they not need him? Back in the hermitage, Samuel seethed. He felt betrayed, forgotten. So he returned to the village and spread a rumor. Anyone who buys from Mira will face misfortune. Fear swept through the village. Sales stopped, but Mira did not crumble. She found other ways to survive. Her children continued studying. Laughter still echoed from the house. Samuel watched in disbelief. His heart, heavy with bitterness, began to break. That night, he returned home. He knocked gently. "Mira, it's me, Samuel." A pause. Then her voice came from inside. "Don't joke like that. My husband died 2 months ago." "No, it's really me. I never drowned. I was with the sage this whole time." Another pause. Then quietly but firmly. "Then you are no longer the man I once loved. The Samuel I knew would never abandon his family. My children and I have rebuilt our lives. Please, return to where you came from." The door stayed shut. Samuel stood still beneath the moonlight. For the first time, not out of pride or pain, but with acceptance, he wept. And perhaps that was the moment he truly began his spiritual journey. Not when he left, not when he meditated, but when he finally let go of his ego, that voice inside that whispered, "You are indispensable." Samuel had left, believing he was the pillar his family stood upon. But what he discovered is that love is not about being needed. Love is about letting others grow, even without you. It is not control. It is not dependence. It is quiet strength, the kind that releases rather than grips. And maybe, just maybe, that is the truest love of all. Not the kind that insists on staying, but the kind that sets others free, even if it breaks your own heart. because life, like the river, flows on, with or without you. And that is not a tragedy, that is peace.
If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs a nudge to rise again. And if you want more heartfelt, transformative stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Thank you for listening. We'll meet again in the next story.